And today we have with us from the Great White North, Chris Perkins. Chris, thanks for being here today.
Hey, thank you guys.
Before we jump into anything, what's your world looking like these days? What do you got going on there while you're sitting in quarantine?
Not a whole lot going on. I haven't really touched the bow all too much, except for the hunting bow. Turkey season opened, I guess, 2 Saturdays ago now, so I've been hunting them pretty hard there. But as far as the tournament rig or anything like that, I haven't really touched it in a while.
No kidding. You're not one that needs to stay on top of it, or it's just nice to have a break, or what's your thought process there?
It's just nice to have a little bit of a break. Generally, this time of year is our busy time. We usually have Yankton, I think Paris, Texas, the ASA, and then Reading in there. So generally, right now is really super busy for us. But with this whole ordeal going on with this COVID stuff, it's really put a kibosh on things. But yeah, I mean, I'll pick the tournament bow up a little bit here and there and shoot a few arrows, but I'm certainly not shooting 100 arrows or 50 arrows a day or anything like that.
Well, Chris, I know one of the things that I wanted to hear about today, because I don't know this, but tell me how you got into archery. I don't know the Chris Perkins backstory.
I shot a bow when I guess I shot my first bow probably when I was like 3 or 4. But it was more or less just, I had a little yellow fiberglass thing that mom and dad picked up at Walmart or something like that. And, I would just fling them anywhere I could, essentially. And I think it was on my 11th birthday. I think my dad bought me my first hunting bow or just a bow just to shoot. And it was actually a PSC Nova, and I still have it. Nice. And I think it was for my 11th birthday, and more or less just for hunting purposes. Here in Canada, we can start hunting at the age of 12. My dad bow hunted. He never shot any tournaments or anything like that. And my mom shot a little bit too. It's something they kind of did together. And I guess as I grew more interest into it, we eventually picked up a pair of 3D bows, tournament bows, or whatever that was. I think I shot a Champion Badger, and nice. My dad had a Hoyt, I want to say a Hoyt Cybertech at the time. And we shot a couple local 3Ds, and really had a big, a spark of interest in it. And I think one of my good buddies now come up to my dad at the time and said, if he really enjoys it and going to stick with it, I think one day he'll be really good. And yeah, kind of here I am today.
Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah. You mentioned that you started out shooting 3D. That's mainly what you have there. Then how do you expand into indoor and, other types of archery, field archery, etc.?
Started shooting indoor 3D actually at the time when we decided to shoot a couple tournaments. And I shot unmarked stuff. And I think I want to say from 2004 to 2009, I shot the IBO stuff. Okay. So I'm familiar with that. And I shot actually the earlier part of IBO. Everything was still Mackenzie's. And yes. I think the last year or maybe the last 2 years I shot IBO. That's when it was Reinhardt's. But I transitioned into the target side of things in 2008. More or less just for, I guess, the indoor side of things, 18 meters. There was more of those events a weekend than there was a 3D.
Right.
And they were much closer, too. So I could shoot more of those than I could the 3Ds. They generally, like I said, in the summertime, there was lots. There was always 3D. I didn't shoot a lot of target, like I said, until 2008. And then that's when I basically went all target stuff. And then I think in 2014 was the first ASA I shot.
Now, for you up in Canada there, when it was all Mackenzie targets, your spring targets, man, that had to be a pain just trying to get those arrows out of those old targets.
Yeah, a lot of the clubs here, they don't have new targets, so a lot of the rings and stuff like that are all shot up. So the
perfect.
arrow pulling in the springtime when the targets were froze wasn't really all that bad because the targets were soft to begin with.
That's a good deal.
I have 30 Mackenzies for the ASA side of things, and they haven't been out of storage in 3 years.
No kidding. You don't.
So.
You're probably traveling by the time it's open enough for you to set your targets up if you were going to do that, I would imagine.
Yeah, like this year was actually really good. I mean, we had 7 days I had 7 days or 8 days after Vegas to kind of prepare for Foley. I didn't look at a 3D target or shoot one. I just kind of quickly I actually didn't even stick a tape on. I shot the sight and the sight tape that I shot all last season and just tried to match the bow and arrow speed the same as what I shot. And then when I got to Foley, just kind of crossed my fingers and prayed that everything kind of worked out.
I was standing beside you on that first arrow, and I saw your face when you just dead center. You're like,
Yeah,
pinwheel.
50 yards,
Well, I guess it works.
I
Yep.
was like, well, I guess it's okay. Yeah.
It must be nice to pick up a bow and pinwheel 50 yards. Like, yeah, I got it right.
But now last year you just missed Shooter of the Year, but you won several tournaments at the ASAs.
Yeah, I think last year, I want to say three out of the 6. I think it was Foley, Augusta, and London. So Augusta and London, I think, were back to back.
How did that feel for you that year? Did you feel like you had still more in the tank, or, how did you feel about last season?
Last season, I felt really good. The year before, which was the very first year I shot Matthews, I struggled a little bit. And I don't know, I think a lot of that had to do with just mental. I wasn't mentally prepared for that year. And I think I just kind of ran out of gas when it came to the ASAs. I think I only podiumed at 1 that year, and coming into 2018 or 2019, I guess, just had a totally different approach to the ASA scene, and ended up working out. And I felt I could have won more than 3. There again, like I said, those other 3, I probably just had one really bad day or not so hot day, and just kind of let the leaders or the top 5 just kind of walk away from me. But winning 3 and actually being I don't think anybody's actually ever won more than 1 in the Known Pro, but don't quote me on that one, in a single year. So
yeah,
it was nice to have a bunch of them. And then the Shooter of the Year stuff, I tried real hard, but like I said, that's all based off of qualification on the 40 targets. So
right,
you have one okay day and one really hot day, and you're trying to compete against somebody that puts 2 really good days together of plus 20 or higher. It's tough to stay with them, especially when they get on a roll.
Right.
Whatever the last tournament you won from the ASA last year, I guess that would have been London. That one, one of the ones, I can't remember which it was, but you just shot at like every 14, and I think you hit most of them, if not all of them. It was, or maybe that was Foley this year.
Foley, I was a little bit more aggressive this year.
Maybe it was Foley.
Than I would have been in London. I think London, I was in first place going into it, and obviously ended up winning it. Foley this year, I think it was in 4th. Fourth.
Yeah, that was it.
And I mean, when you're in that position, you got to, like I said, you have to make a game plan. And I think the easiest way to do that is, like I said, I just take a piece of paper and a pen and write down, and that's what I'm doing. I'm not changing my mind.
That's incredible. I know it seemed from my side, just watching your confidence that you're talking about there, I could see that. I didn't know about the year before, but it just seemed to me, there's Chris, he's aiming at that. I expected you to hit every one, and more often than not, you did. So, and you could tell by your reactions after the shot, yep, that's what was supposed to happen. It just seemed like that confidence was coming through last season for sure. So you've done some of the field. Do you get to shoot much field?
Nope, I've shot exactly 4 field rounds in my entire life.
Wow.
And in 20, I think it was in 18, I was NFAA Shooter of the Year, and I think I won the fields that year.
Nice.
And that was the 3rd field round or the 4th field round I'd ever shot.
How about that? Are there field courses up there where you live?
Not close to me, no. I got to drive
Yeah.
about 4 hours to shoot one.
Yeah, I would imagine that's probably the one that's missing.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about the World Archery stuff? 50 meter. Have you ever shot in any of that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The first year they went, World Archery went to 50 meter was the year I won the Outdoor World Championships in 2011.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Not only did he shoot it, PJ, he won.
Hey, oh well, yeah, I should have figured that
Yeah.
out.
and that was the first senior World Championships I had ever shot.
No kidding. Wow.
So what's the next
Yeah, so
tournament that
there's-
can be your first? Because it seems like your first tournament, the first time you go, you're going to win. So
Yeah, what's the next one?
Yeah. The next one I won was 2012 Reading. That was the very first year I shot that.
And you won it.
And then yeah, I did. Yeah. And then in 2015 was the year, I think the last year they had the $1 million 3-star tour.
Yes.
that's right.
And I was the only archer to clean after day one, and the only archer to ever clean that round, period, at the time.
No kidding.
And then, and then I won that one. At one down, 1199 out of 1200.
And
Wow.
did you drop your last arrow on that one?
No, I dropped my 101st of 120. The very first arrow at 60 yards.
Okay.
Jeez.
Knew you were getting down there,
Yeah.
and Bruce was sweating it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do people know in your community up there? Do they know? Hey, this is Chris Perkins. World-class archer here.
Like I said, archery is really not super popular. So anytime I've had people ask me, well, what do you do? And it's just like, well, I'm a professional archer, and they're just like, oh, and you make money at that? That's always the reaction. It's just like, oh, and back when I won the world championships, everybody's just like, oh, so you're done now? It's like, no, I'm just beginning.